Welcome to Unscripted Coding. Today we're going to be playing around with Azure's Cognitive Service for Language. A long mouthful, we'll come back to it in a second. But the idea behind this video was seeing assembly AI, and I was just blown away. And as a result, I want to be able to create something similar, or at least build pieces of it. What is it? Well, Assembly AI takes audio, transcribes it, and then runs what you would think as typical AI type of functions in there. If you go on their main site, try out their playground, and paste a YouTube link, you probably don't want something like a music video or something with no speech. You probably want something like a news report, an explainer video, a documentary, something along those lines. You paste it in, and what it's going to do is it's going to run through that video, and it's going to transcribe the whole thing. Meaning it's going to take that video, every spoken word, and it's going to turn it into text. So that alone is pretty valuable, in my opinion. But it's the next step, this next column, that makes it very valuable. Because it takes this, this 25-minute video, turns into, I'd say, maybe 5 to 10,000 words, and then you ask it to summarize, turn it into 200-300 words. So instead of watching a 25-minute video, you get the key points in 20 seconds of reading or so. You have different options, of course. This is just very much text manipulation. So over here, you can see I asked it to take out the important keywords. This particular summary, I've asked it to create chapters, so there's kind of thematic sections. If you take a look at another one I ran through, you have more of a bullet point type of summary. So you have different options, definitely, and some of these transcripts don't turn out as nice. Some of them turn out a bit differently. So that's the idea, and if you want to just use their API, I think it's brilliant. Price is a little high, but that's the cost of this technology now. It's billed by the second, but I think these ones took like 50 to 90 cents to run each time. It's not cheap, but if you get value out of it, you can justify it as well. So let's go back to Azure. The price was a bit difficult, but given the polish, given that it's all done and you don't have to think about it, I do recommend, at the very least, trying out Assembly AI's playground. But that's not me. I want to build it. I want to see if I can do it on my own. And so the first thing I did was look at Azure's pricing. I'm looking at US West and US dollars. But you can take a look at how they price things. And I should scroll back for a second here. I'm skipping a major chunk here. I am not converting YouTube videos into text. Frankly, I am very interested, and I have always been very interested in taking court documents or long documents or books and summarizing it. I don't need that whole transcribing feature, but that's something you can very realistically do on your own computer. If you have something mid-tier or higher, you can do it on your own computer. Azure has other features, I think, to transcribe, but that's not the main point here. What I want to do is take a giant block of text like this one and get a good summary out of it. And Azure has you covered. Azure has summarizers that will do the work for you. And when I was Googling, I feel like they're the only ones offering a package service that's from the big companies. So I'm talking about Google, AWS, Microsoft. There are definitely APIs like Assembly AI out there. But Microsoft has something ready to go, and what I want to do is build it out and see how it performs. But interestingly enough, when I was digging into this, there's a very key concept we have to learn first. Azure offers two types of summaries. There is the extractive summary and an abstractive summary. Extractive summary is pulling out key phrases and sentences inside a document. So in this case, you can see there's the original text. They just picked the most important sentences and cut out the fluff. That's extractive summary. Abstractive is different in that it's remixing, it's creating new text that summarizes what's there. So if you ask a person to summarize, and I'm thinking about when I was in university, you have a bit of both. I might summarize it for you verbally by giving you the gist of it, saying it in my own words. But if I'm looking at certain academic papers, the language and the wording's really important. So I would just be highlighting the key phrases, the most important parts. And that's over here. We're going to be doing extractive summaries today because while Microsoft has that abstractive, that rephrasing one available, it's not available to the general public. And so I can't demonstrate it. I can't use it without giving them a good reason, a product, an idea to start using it. But let's play around with that. And let me get back to our pricing real quick. Every 1,000 text records, you have pricing here. And if you take a look here, each text record is 1,000 characters. When you do it, each one of these dollar amounts is 1,000,000 characters. And I think that is roughly 150,000 words. That's a lot of words. That's like 3 short novels or 1 long novel to summarize. So if you want to put, all of, I don't know what a long novel is, but Game of Thrones might be too long. But if you put like a mid-sized Harry Potter book through this, you would be able to summarize the entire book. And the price here is $2 American. Again, you can see how this is expensive. This is not a cheap solution. If you take a look at Assembly AI, I was thinking this is maybe 6,000 to 10,000 characters. 6 to 10,000 words. You're looking at, 10, 20 cents over here. It does add up. It's not cheap to summarize, is what I wanted to say. But if you have an Azure account, you do get 5,000 text records free a month. That is 5 million characters. I see it as like 5 books that you can summarize for free a month. What a deal. Okay, enough of that. We're going to go and take a look at the quick start. And what's cool is that they have code examples, and you can get it right through the language you want to work in, or you can just send an API call. We're going to do Python because I think if I were to want to do that transcribing piece, take a YouTube video, turn it to text, do it all that, I think Python makes a lot of sense because I'm familiar with it and it has a lot of the tools. So we're going to do that. And I think very simply, all we're going to do is actually copy and paste and put the keys, put the right keys in. I do have a playground ready to go that I set up earlier. And really all that is going into your portal account and creating a, what is it called? Cognitive service for language instance. So you just click through, choose the free option, obviously. And I'm going to stop talking for 2 minutes so I can paste this somewhere. Okay, I'm back. I did the boring stuff. So number 1, I put my secrets, my key and endpoint into a separate file. And then I created, of course, a virtual environment with Python. If I run it, I'm not going to have it. So there's no module named Azure. So we're going to go straight back to, oops, probably shouldn't have shared that. But we're going to pip install this right here. So we're going to install a whole bunch of stuff, and that's going to allow us to run it. They have given us a very quick document. I don't know why it's split into multiple strings like that, but let's debug and run and see how this goes. Okay, so you can see over here we have an answer. So I'm going to paste it here. And let's word wrap so we can read. Looks like they selected all the sentences, but that is perfectly fine. The next step I wanted to take is, what if I took this entire block of text here and pasted it in here? Okay, and most importantly, and let's run through this code here, what we're going to do is just import the client and credentials. We're going to authenticate, basically log in. We don't care about that. What we care about is we get the right client. You can see that we care about the extract summary action. We have our long block of text, and what we're going to do is run it. We're going to use the client and begin one of the actions. We have an option here of the maximum number of sentences output. What I found odd when I was looking into this is that there is a max summary count of 20 sentences. So you throw in the whole Harry Potter book, and it's still only going to spit out 20 sentences. I'm trying to work out how I best solve that, but I think chunking is what makes sense. You take the first, I don't know, 10th of the book, then the next 10th, then the next 10th, then the next 10th. But 20 sentences is a lot, and I think for this purpose, we probably don't even need the whole 20. But let's try it out. And this might take a little bit of time. And take a look. So we have this giant piece of text here. Going to paste this, and we're going to comment it. So obviously it has been summarized quite drastically. And what I wanted to see is, let's compare these ones. I don't think this is horrible, actually. This is really not a bad summary. So I'm going to be using this. I'm going to be testing it out more often, but let's run it through, because it went through all the sections of the video, if I remember right. And let me just come back here. This one focused a bit more on the numbers, and this one was a bit more of the major concepts. And if you run it a few times, you're going to get different results. But I wanted to just bring it down to maybe like 10 sentences. And what I wanted to do is try the next block of text. Okay. And we will take this big chunk. What did I do here? No, I think that should work. Let's run it and see where we go. So what's really important here is the time and the cost. I had tried to build this on GPT-3, and if you remember right, it's 4,000 tokens. It's just a couple thousand words. You have very limited amount in long-term text. So what you want to do if you were running this through ChatGPT or GPT-3 is you got to chunk out your text over and over, and then you got to go through it all together, and then you got to break those summaries together, bring them together, chunk them out, and sometimes you want overlapping text to get a good result. And it's very, very easy to spend money like a drunken sailor trying to make that working. In this case, Microsoft is doing everything for you. I have no clue what they're running, but again, I'm just eyeballing here, and this one's probably worse than the first one in terms of the summary, but not bad. The beautiful part about building this all together is that once you're in Python, you can do all sorts of things. So you can pull things off a website. You can pull it out of PDFs. You can pull it out of Word documents because you have such a rich number of packages on Python for scraping data off the internet, off audio. I think it's fairly trivial to find something that'll recognize the audio off YouTube. So it's probably another like import package and then maybe 20, 30 lines in front of this to finish what Assembly AI, the one option I'm asking for is done here. I am very much excited to wait and see the abstractive summarization show up for general usage, but basically the code is exactly the same except where we said extract summary action, I think it was something like abstract summary action, and the same command down bottom. They've made it really, really easy. So I love Azure and I keep using it because it's reasonably priced, it's easy, and I can build on top of it. So hopefully you guys found that useful. I certainly did, and I am excited to build on top of this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week.